Hello and welcome to Nuts and Bolts. Fantastic to have you guys here. We've got a great session on today. But before we do, I just wanted to say to you, remember, this is your platform. If you have any questions, any concerns, any problems, any burning platforms that you may have at work and you don't know how to fix it or find a solution, then ask us at teamleadertoolkit.com and we will find a solution for you and put it on a small video for you here. So what's the session that we've got on today? What do you do when a co-worker or someone on your team resents you? Now, this could be for a number of reasons. It could be that you might have taken the role of leader over them, or it could be that they really, really liked their leader before and they didn't want a new one coming in and now you've come in, or maybe the one previous was a really, a bit of a crap leader and they're going, oh, they're all the same. Whatever it may be, there's lots and lots of reasons why this person might be resenting you for whatever reason. And it's really tempted to sort of write off a pouting employee and go, oh, well, that one's a lost cause. Sometimes there's more going on that meets the eye, and it's worth pursuing because the damage is not irreversible. So we can do something about it. And we have to remember that if somebody is resenting us and that's impacting us, our non-verbal communication takes up about 55% of how we communicate with others. So if you don't talk it out, you're going to act it out. And what do I mean by that? As humans, our emotions leak out in our expression. So our tone of voice, our volume, our pitch, our non-verbal, in our actions, we're going to show people that we're not overly happy with them. And that's obviously going to have an impact on them, because even though if we try and hide it, they're going to know that we've got ill feelings or we're not happy or something like that. So if you don't talk it out, you're going to act it out. So what we're going to do today is, how do we talk it out? How do we approach that somebody who is resentful towards us? And it's quite obvious resent. So how do we do that as a leader in a really constructive way? And it's not easy, let me tell you. It's going to be a tough one. But let's go through it step by step. Number one, look in the mirror. And what do I mean by that? Ask yourself, do you really want to spend time on this relationship? Is this a relationship that's going to benefit both parties in the long run? Do you really want to restore it? Because it's going to take commitment. It's going to take you to be vulnerable sometimes. It's going to take you to be humble sometimes. It's going to take some, getting over some cynicism and all those sorts of things. So it's going to take some time, and you're going to have to be resilient with it. Somebody is already resenting you, you're going to build that relationship, and you are going to be the one on the forefront building that relationship up front. So it's going to take time to do that. All right. So if you decide to move forward, if you're going to put the time and effort and all those sorts of things into this, if you're going to move forward, the first thing I want you to do is think about finding a common purpose for that person. So step one is to look in the mirror and make sure you've got the commitment to be able to do this. And step two is finding a common purpose. So imagine a mutual purpose that will fit both. So currently, this person might see you as an obstacle in their career advancement, for example. So maybe they went for the role that you've got, and suddenly you've become this bump in the road for them, and they thought they would deserve that role and you got it, and there's a bit of resentment in that. So you've got to think to yourself, do I want to be a blocker in this person's career advancement? Probably not. So could the common purpose be you both look at his or her career progression and work on that together? That could be the common purpose. So have a think about what you think the common purpose could be. And down the track, we're going to ask that person. But at the moment, I just want you to have a think about, what do you think that common purpose is? All right. So look in the mirror, find a common purpose, have a think about what that might be. Number two, now you're going to have the conversation. So you're going to begin with your observations. You're going to begin by sharing a story. And it could say something like, when I knew I got this role, I was actually a little bit fearful because I know that you had been looking after the team for some time, and even though I thought I could do the role really well, I was worried about your reaction. I was worried about how you were going to come with me coming in, and that actually, put me offside a little bit. And when I first entered, into this team, I did feel like that, there was a little bit of a wall between us. So start off being vulnerable, start off telling the truth and being fairly transparent in how you feel. You have to come across as truthful and authentic and genuine, not blame. So you don't go in there and go, you've been doing this and you've been doing that and you've made me feel this and you've made me feel that. You really don't want to come across as you're attacking. It needs to be a balanced approach, okay? So have a think about what that's going to look like. Download the difficult discussion planner if you have to, and try and get on point with that. You want this conversation as neutral as possible. So you're going to come across really, really balanced. And it's okay to open up and be authentic and be genuine with how you feel. That's okay. A great leader will do that. So make sure you do that. It's really, really good to do in this particular circumstance as well. Okay. Now, at this time, this person might be denying that there's any resentment there because he wants to save face. I'm saying he, it could be a she, because they want to save face, because they don't want to, they don't want to upset the new boss or whatever, or they want to keep it to themselves. But as I said, just like for you, if you don't say it, you're going to act it out. That's the same as them too. So they might not tell you that they're resentful, but you can feel it. You can see it in their actions, in their non-verbals, in their tone of voice, in their eye contact, the whole thing, right? So we're not silly. So, it's up to you to decide how hard you're going to push that to try and get, some sort of resemblance of agreement that there is an issue with your current relationship and we need to fix it. You might need for him to, admit that there's a problem, or you might not. But either way, what you want to do next is work out how you're going to move forward. So explain that you would really like to find a mutual purpose for you both. That, he's got an interest in this particular stream or this particular stream of career. Check to see if he's open to considering what is the common ground, and ask him what he wants. Look, what do you want for your future? I know that there's, that you're keen and you're fairly ambitious. What do you really want? And then this is where you would support him to get there. So this is where there'll be some verbal agreement to say, well, let's get there together. I'm here to support you and I want to see you succeed. Be aware at this stage there's going to be a level of skepticism and cynicism because, let's face it, you've talked the talk but you haven't walked the walk at this stage, right? So this is to be expected. So just know that you're going to cop a bit of, well, he said all the right things, but let's see what happens. You're going to cop that. So step 4 is actually demonstrating your commitment. So how do you do this? So you need to, first of all, know that you're going to sacrifice some time and sacrifice a little bit of ego. But you might find a project or a series of tasks or that you and this person can work on together that give them visibility to higher management. So lets him have that support, that he can be seen as somebody with leadership abilities or somebody with, extraordinary sort of creative abilities or whatever those tasks are that you're trying to move him towards, and have that person's back, So you need to demonstrate that commitment before that person's really going to believe that you're going to support them. And once you do, that relationship is absolutely going to flourish. So let's go over it again. So if somebody is resenting you for whatever reason and they're on your team, it's going to be really difficult because it's going to impact you. And if you don't talk it out, you'll act it out. Okay, so first one, look in the mirror. Do you really want to spend the time and effort? Because it will take time and it will take effort. So you need to make sure that you're committing to this, because it will take resilience for you, because you're going to get a bit of pushback. Okay, so just know that it's not going to be an easy road. So number one, look in the mirror and ask yourself that. Number two, if you decide, yes, this relationship is worth building and I want to do this, find a common purpose. What did this person want? Have a think about. Did they go for the role that I went for? Maybe this is the common purpose that we can go to and find them a similar role. Number three, have that conversation. Download the difficult discussion planner if you need to. Let that be a help and a support for you. Have the conversation and begin with your observations being really balanced, okay? This is where you're going to be open, genuine, authentic. And that's okay. That's a really brave thing to do, and that's what good leaders do. Where am I up to? So number two is have the conversation. Number three, I'm looking at my notes here. Number three is work out how you're going to move forward. And you need to do that together. So you can supply what you think is the common purpose. So it really needs to come from them as well. So what do you really want? What's their career? What's the stream that they're interested in? Those sorts of things. And then have a verbal agreement that you're going to support that person getting there. Remembering there's going to be a bit of skepticism. And number four, demonstrate that commitment. Give them tasks or projects, or let them, shadow or work with people that they're gonna have visibility to higher management, so they can be seen to be, hey, this person's really good at this, or they can delegate really well, or they can, run a project really well. And suddenly they're having that visibility with the right people that can make a difference with their career. So I hope these tips help you and you can find a common ground with that person that might be resentful to you. If you've got any burning platforms, if you've got any more issues or anything and you're looking for a solution, remember, ask at teamleadertoolkit.com and we will try and find a solution for you with lots of tips and hints. So I hope that helped for today. Have a fantastic rest of the week and enjoy your weekend, and we will see you next Thursday with another smashing session. All right, see you then. Thanks again. Bye for now.